perhaps not traditional to think about growing crops next to producing electricity, but actually it is just another way of capitalising the usage of that land.
It's made a huge difference. You wait a long time for getting paid for potatoes and grain or anything you really grow, or if you've got fat cattle you wait a year as well. And the income coming in is at the time of year you want it. And it's usually windy up at Tullo. That's an absolute no-brainer for a farmer. We can farm round about them. I can go round the cattle in my car now if I want. There's decent roads, the whole hill, all the way around. Good fences. It's actually made this place a far better farm.
Tullo Wind Farm's basically on agricultural land. Lovely little wind farm, lovely aspect, looking out to the sea. Really good vantage point, overlooking the other farms in the surrounding area. Tullo 2 Wind Farm is essentially the missing half for Tullo 1 Wind Farm. It sits very well in the landscape, looks well from all angles, and basically completes the picture for that wind farm. Previously, when you looked at Tullo 1 Wind Farm, you'd think there's something missing there, and what was missing was Tullo 2, and now it's complete.
The original Tullo Wind Farm, which was developed some time ago now, 6 years ago, gave us the opportunity to look at what else could be done here. Mindful as ever of what the community might think, we were well aware at the time that others were looking to expand other parcels of land around here, notably the Gammy family and the Shields with Lloyd Garvey. So what we did was we created a group of these developments and made them as one. That meant that we could make sure that it fitted properly, that it didn't look like 3 or 4 different wind farms, and that actually what you see now on the hillside here is one coherent development.
Tullo 2, 25 megawatts. Different kettle of fish in that the actual hill that Tullo 1 and Tullo 2 sit on, Tullo 1 has 1 landowner, Tullo 2 further 4 landowners. But interesting, positive. I think the landowners are happy, Eneco are happy, relationships are very, very good. I think the cows are happy.
In building Tullo 1, we made a firm commitment to the community that we would be a good neighbour for 25 years or more. And this is something that we've taken very seriously in the 4 years since we made that initial pledge. We continue to develop and improve the guidelines that the community uses to distribute its benefit fund. And with the construction of Tullo 2, they've received an enhanced amount of funding, and we've improved it significantly since that time also.
This year we're talking about £85,000. That's obviously going to be index linked, so next year it will grow again in line with inflation. Last year we were giving just under £19,000, which we had 65,000 applied for, and we had 19,000 to give away. So there is clearly a need for this money in the area.
We continue to fully support the work that's done by the Mearns Area Partnership, which is a body distributing the money by the community for the community.
It's a very interesting area to represent as a councillor. We've got the coastal communities, Inverbervie, Johnshaven, Gourdon and St Cyrus, and then inland we've got Lawrencekirk being the central town, and then all the satellite villages around that, and each one is different. They've all got their own community groups, they've all got their own characters, but the sense of community is very strong in the Mearns. They give their time freely, and they're able to gain some sort of satisfaction that they're actually achieving in their community, and they're able to do it a lot quicker with funds like this because they're able to make their dreams come true.
We've had from senior citizens groups, we've had from schools, we've had from youth groups, we've had from village halls, lots of halls, we've had from pipe bands who needed new kilts, we've had from, there are so many, I honestly can't think of them off the top of my head, but it's a huge range.
It's benefiting in many ways: education, elderly, community buildings, village halls, that sort of thing. By giving them the means to initiate the projects which they've planned, and also to take ownership of those projects, they're not beholden to any authority, basically. It gives them autonomy of judgment, autonomy of operation, and a sense of satisfaction.
Eneco are excellent in that they totally see it as a community benefit fund, and they give it to the community, and it's for the community to distribute it and set the criteria, whereas some other developers have quite strict criteria. They want to sit on the panels themselves. Eneco have none of that. It's all purely for the people of the area.
The community benefit started off at a small amount for a start, and initially it helped a few people, and now it's a considerable amount of money. Now the extension's up, and I've met people in the street in Lonskirk, although it's Eneco it's doing it, and they've said, my goodness, that was tremendous, and thank goodness people are helping local people, and they're really genuinely grateful for it. They don't have to thank me, they have to thank Eneco.
Today we opened the Tullo wind farm. Very excited about that. It's not just a wind farm, for us it's a very important stepping stone in the UK organisation. It's the first project, and it's great to see that the organisation has grown to this size in 5 years' time, so I'm very proud today.
We're here in Paskhouse, where Gladstone, of course, the 4 times Prime Minister, ushered in the Industrial Revolution. It raised people out of artisanal poverty. It rocked. It was a model based on fossil fuels, on centralisation, on efficiency, on mass production. But what we're starting to see is that model has started to dissipate. That it's a transition from mass to mass and micro, from centralised to centralised and local, from fossil fuel to fossil fuel and renewable, and above all, from a model where our job is to be the consumer. And the single shift that I think is the biggest, and that today has shown so vividly, is the shift from a system that disconnected us from ecosystems, that disconnected us from each other, to one where we got the potential again to be connected. And what does that take? Yeah, of course it takes engineering to build that thing 100 meters high, 20 giraffes high. Of course it takes finance to get the structures right. Of course it takes lawyers. But the real thing it takes is people who have come together and with a really complex structure of 5 landowners and a whole load of complexity to work through, done the hard work of rewiring it and making it work.
In May 2013, we already started construction of the 10 turbines wind farm, and we did it very quickly. In 5-6 months, all the turbines were erected and shortly after energized. And you can only build such a wind farm in such a tight scheme in a safe way if you have cooperation with your landowners and also your contractors. And it was a pleasure to work with this team.
Now we come to the opening of the wind farm. Now, the wind farm has been given a different name from the original. The original obviously was just Tullo 1. So we asked the Explorer group to give it a name, and Matthew Robertson came up with the winning name. It's going to be called Twinshiels. Who we also have is Amy, who opened our first wind farm. So here we are 5 years later, Amy, and you're doing the honours again. Okay, so if everybody could count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Eneco also support other local initiatives like the Milltown community in Arbuthnot.
It's a community for working with adults with disabilities, and recently when we began building our new wood workshop, Eneco offered to help us with the funding for building the compost toilets. And on the hand of that, they appointed us to be their partners of choice in the UK, which means they're working with a long-term relationship with us to fund us and promote our work. And on the other hand, we also provide opportunities for them to do team building exercises for their staff.
We also had a hand in doing the stumps for the signs. There's various signs along the walkway that gives information about the turbines and local wildlife. It's a really good project for the guys. It brought the whole community together, and there was a lot of people worked on it. And I'm thankful to Eneco for putting the business our way.
As a condition of their original agreement with Eneco, local farming family the Gammies asked that a substantial donation be made to the Stonehaven Kidney Dialysis charity for very personal reasons.
My mother, she died when she was 53 of cancer, and my father's had cancer as well. My brother's had a kidney removed, my other brother's had an eye removed, wet. So, and they've got a lot from the health services in this area, so we just wanted to put a little bit back to some of the health services, and the kidney dialysis thing seemed to be a good thing to do, and it'll help the patients and the families of the local area, save them running to Aberdeen at a stressful time.
The landscape here has actually many characteristics. When you walk down the street in Lawrencekirk, you look out to the far side of the Mains. Here you've got the rolling countryside and this hilltop, which is a natural place for a wind farm, given that the wind comes off the sea here. And it is accepted, we feel, with the local community now. This actually is something that they have some pride in.